Welcome. Take it up with Jessica Lee. I'm here with Caroline Sutton, who's the Senior Director of Product Marketing at Bandwidth. Hi, Caroline. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Jessica. Thanks for having me.
I didn't know much about your company, and I started researching. I'm like, wow, this is pretty amazing. You provide a lot of the networking services for some of the big, more well-known UCaaS players like RingCentral and Google. So I wanted to have you talk more about what does Bandwidth do specifically?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think a lot of folks are sort of like you. In some cases, we're the man behind the curtain, like in Wizard of Oz. So Bandwidth's platform is really the underpinnings of the entire UCaaS and CCaaS industry. Many of these big players like Zoom, like RingCentral, like Microsoft, rely on Bandwidth and our platform, our APIs, to make those calls, send those text messages, reach emergency services. So we're the communications provider behind the scenes for those major players in the industry, as well as some emerging technology companies on the SaaS side. So a lot going on here at Bandwidth that you might not even be aware of.
Yeah, and it's about to be even more exciting for you because you're in the middle of integrating this other company you bought, Voxbone, right? Tell us about how they're similar to you, but they have other markets that you're not in. So this is going to make you a lot more global, more powerful.
Yeah, exactly. So Bandwidth has long been established in the United States as well as Canada. But with the Voxbone acquisition, our services will now be available across the globe. So Voxbone had a lot of similar capabilities to Bandwidth, but really specialized in the EU and APAC outside of the United States. So together, we'll be able to offer one of the largest communications networks available and unprecedented capability behind the scenes at the software level. So together, we'll really be a dominant player in the enterprise communication space. So really excited about where we'll be able to go.
Now, as a Senior Director of Product Marketing, I would love to hear some of the campaigns that you've done, the successes, the tips that you would share. For example, in particular, the new revenue stream through text messaging. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so Bandwidth has kind of had its roots in being a voice service provider to these large UCaaS, CCaaS companies. But just a few years ago, text messaging at Bandwidth was a really insignificant part of the business. One of the things that I had a hand in since starting at Bandwidth is building up our text messaging business from the ground. It's been really exciting to be part of it. And, marketing actually played a pretty large role in that. To start with, we wanted to really see how many of our customers were interested in using text messaging to equip businesses to do really innovative things. So if you've gotten a text from maybe a restaurant asking for a review, or from a store giving you an offer or a coupon, something like that, it's very likely that it's Bandwidth under the covers, making that text message possible. But just a few years ago, getting a text message from a business was really unheard of. So it was really exciting to be part of that rise within Bandwidth and really push the business forward in this way. So I did get to be on kind of the front lines in establishing that business, in equipping our sales team with what it takes to make our customers interested in text messaging, and making us a competitive player in this industry.
So you went from an insignificant amount of revenue through text messaging servers to now over 10%, and that's a growing area. Especially, when we look at the innovation in this space, one of the things that I want to have you talk about is the rich text messaging capabilities. Now, I have not seen it, but I know that that's coming, and that's going to become really exciting. Explain that to us a bit.
Absolutely. So text messaging, as you know it, is really undergoing an evolution, and it's exciting to be part of. So if you have gotten a text message from a business today, it's very likely it's just a piece of text, maybe an image if you're lucky, maybe a link here and there. And with RCS, that text message from a business is about to get a whole lot more exciting. So an example that I like to think about, I really enjoy looking at houses, staying in touch with the housing market. So if I get a text message from my realtor today, I might just get a simple link that says like, hey, Caroline, check out this house. I click through, I go to my browser. But with RCS, that text message might have maybe an image of the house, maybe it flips through, gives me a virtual tour, and all of that is in a text message, which is crazy and mind blowing to think about that a text message could be capable of doing something so rich and so innovative. And if you imagine it from a business perspective, it can really get customers interested in a new way. Text messaging itself is such a personal method of communication. So imagine, that personal feeling combined with this really rich, innovative experience really will give businesses some cool things to play around with in the future.
So Caroline, this rich communication messaging sounds exciting. But do I need 5G capability in my phone and my AT&T service?
No, so it's actually confusing. There's so much evolution happening in the communication space at once, and the two are actually on totally different timelines, totally unrelated. Even though you might think like I've been hearing a lot about this 5G thing, I've been hearing a lot about this RCS thing. They're probably the same thing. Two totally different things, but both enabling some really awesome innovation in the space. And RCS in particular is exciting here at Bandwidth.
Okay, well, I look forward to seeing that on my phone. Now, I have an Apple phone, so hopefully soon we will see that kind of rich messaging as we get more comfortable with businesses communicating with the consumers.
Yeah, I do think it's becoming a bit more of an expectation today. I know you and I were just chatting about getting text messages from our favorite stores. It's almost an expectation that you get a text message reminder when you have a doctor's appointment. I know, and the coronavirus times that we're living in now, I've gotten tested a couple of times, and that's how I get my test results. So it's amazing how much of a part of our daily lives text messaging really has become.
So Caroline, the next thing I want to ask you to explain a little bit is because there's a new policy approaching where businesses have to be really careful about the robocalls. Talk to us about this stir and shaken policy that all businesses have to make sure they have in place by June of this year.
Yeah, so stir shaken, really exciting name. And kind of misleading when you think about it. I think of James Bond and having a martini when I think about stir shaken usually. But in this case, it is a regulation that the FCC is sponsoring. And what that means is that all communication service providers, Bandwidth included, have to kind of integrate this new technology infrastructure to be able to denote robocalls and spam and fraud differently from calls that you want. So calls from your family, your friends, a business giving you an important message. We want those calls to get to your phone. But a call letting you know that your car's extended warranty is up and available from somebody you have no clue how in the world they got your number, you don't want those kinds of calls. And businesses like the ones we work with want their calls to be answered. It's wanted phone calls from you. We want to kind of build up that phone call back to a trusted method of communication. So it's all about getting wanted traffic to your phone and keeping that unwanted robocalls at bay. So as you might imagine, there's a lot going on with that. And especially here at Bandwidth, we've had partnerships and integrations with a lot of the major carriers already, and we'll look to even expand on that before the June timeline. So a lot going on in that space for sure. It's critically important to all of our customers right now.
Oh, I am very happy about that new regulation. I think a third to a half of my calls sometimes are just robocalls. And so definitely it's something that's very annoying, and I look forward to having less of that. Thank you so much, Caroline, for being on the show to talk about Bandwidth, what you guys are doing, exciting times for you. So congratulations on pushing that new revenue stream through text messaging and talking about the steer and shaking policy and talking about this new rich communication that we're about to see as a way of getting through our text messaging.
Thank you, Jessica. It's been a pleasure.
There you have it. Take it up with Jessica Leak, Caroline Sutton from Bandwidth.